Tell him if he makes a Final Four run, he can keep his job. And let's see where the season goes and how inspired this team plays.
Sleepers Media goes off the reservation in this latest episode. We're going to talk about all of it in this episode. Let's get into it.
Pretty simple. I win.
Hello, guys, and welcome to Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for being here and being part of this community. So, we have a very interesting episode today. I got some clips lined up for you because I'm watching Sleepers Media. And I watch a lot of their videos because they pop up on my TV screen. They play. They make a lot of videos about Indiana. And I love Indiana. So I watch a lot of their videos. I'm watching this episode, and a lot of me is thinking, where are they going with this? Like, where is this going to go? Are they going to go full circle with this? We're going to talk about all that and more on this episode today. But first, if this is your first time here or you're returning, hit that subscribe button down below. This is Indiana Sports Connection across the country and across the globe. And we have a contest winner that I will reveal on the show today. We hit 2,800 subscribers. And so we have a t-shirt winner that I'll reveal at the end of the episode. Hit that thumbs up button. It helps get the video out to more Hoosier fans. And we got people watching this show all over the place. Australia, the UK. So I thank all of you for that. And leave your comments down below. I love to answer all the comments and get into a conversation with all of you today about what you think about this. And the video is brought to you by BetUS. Use my promo code Indiana125 to save 125% on your first 3 deposits, and 10% of the AdSense revenue on this channel goes to T2T.org. Without the veterans, we are nothing. And subscribe. If you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, you will be entered to win a shirt from Rally House, and I'll have the contest winner at the end of the episode today. Without further ado, let's get into talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. All right, Hillbilly Monkey, what did you think about this when we were watching this clip?
I thought, where are they going with all of this?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's about one of the most brain-dead things I've heard somebody say since they tried to abolish sliced bread.
I'm not sure if they ever tried to abolish sliced bread, but yeah, if that's so, this is one of the craziest things I've heard. We got the clips lined up for you here, and we're going to watch them, and then we're going to react to them because they went full Monty on this, and we're going to break it down for you on this episode today. Hillbilly Monkey, roll that first clip, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? It's not his fault. Whose fault is it?
I think it's a top to bottom program thing where it's like there's some issues in house that maybe like we don't know about, right? Like I kind of, to compare it to like professional sports, ownership, GM, there's stuff going on in the front office. Maybe we don't know about it as fans, but it limits who wants to go there. Looking at that coaching candidate list, and that's the candidate list before some other jobs potentially could open up too, right? Like, there's a world the Texas job opens. How does that change what the Indiana candidate list looks like? I feel like people don't necessarily want to go to Indiana. I think there's issues that are causing Woodson's exit that's also limiting who could be brought in. And to me, like that's a program issue, not necessarily a Woodson issue. And I do think I blamed a lot of it on Woodson, and maybe I was wrongfully doing that.
This is a bunch of hullabaloo. The Texas job, nobody's going to want the Texas job more than they want the Indiana job. And also, the biggest thing that is preventing Indiana from being good is Mike Woodson. He is not putting the work out. Like, the fact that this dude's sitting there and he's really trying to make it about, like, the program as a whole and, like, take the coach out of it entirely is just objectively false. I mean, the coach has all the say in the world. I think the coach has been this is a coach who said to all of us, like, I'll keep my job till I say I'm going to be fired. Scott Dolson, I don't answer to Scott Dolson. I don't answer to anybody. Do we forget all that? Like, what is this guy even talking about? Has he ever watched IU? I've watched this dude a lot talk about IU. I've agreed with him some, but this is one of the most brain dead things I've ever heard somebody say in my entire life. Let's get into the next, I don't know this dude's name, but he responds to this And then he goes on to really kind of back this up. And I thought this was baffling just to watch how. And, this happens on podcasts. It's so, this day and age, it's like people act like disagreements are a bad thing. Disagreements are a good thing. If you want to make progress doing anything, there's going to be disagreements. Then you're going to move forward from those disagreements. But Hillbilly Monkey, play that next clip and then we'll talk about it.
I think I agree with you. I'm trying to think what flipped, right? What flipped from before firing or before announcement to after announcement. I called it 5-2 to end the season. That was the final 7 games. It was 8 games after they announced Mike Woodson will be done at the end of the season. They went 5-3. The 3 losses: a 3-point home loss to Michigan where they were tied with 2 minutes left, 4-point home loss to UCLA where they were tied with 2 minutes left, and a 9-point road loss at Oregon where they were competitive against a team that's pretty good at home. Then they have wins at Michigan State, best win any team in the Big Ten had this season, at Washington, and took care of business at home against Purdue, rivalry, huge comeback, at home against Penn State, and then at home against Ohio State to clinch their NCAA tournament bid. Let me repeat that last sentence. Indiana just clinched an NCAA tournament bid. That's what they did. This team was 14-10, 5-8 in the Big Ten, completely out of the NCAA tournament picture when they announced that he would not return. Since then, they have won so much, they are firmly in the NCAA tournament for the 3rd time in 4 years. And what changed? Other than just oh shit, let's play for Woody, which is crazy to say out loud. What changed is Mike Woodson stopped trying to force the kids that don't care about Woody and this program on the court to please the donors. That's what changed. The donors spent all their money on Cannon Carlisle, who objectively stinks. Mm-hmm. Bad player. The donors spent all their money on Miles Rice, on Umar Ballo. And look, those guys have still given you solid things, don't get me wrong. Umar Ballo has had really, really loud, awesome moments this year. Miles Rice has had games where he's been the best player, for certain. But those guys visibly do not care the way Anthony Leal does, the way Luke Goody does. Those were guys that were here for paychecks. That's it. Mackenzie Mbako, another guy who has had moments where he really cares, another guy that really has had moments he hasn't. And Woodson stopped giving an F about all of this when he had to put in his final month notice, right? Oh, I'm gone anyway? Then I'm going to do what I actually think is best for the team. That's how Woodson has coached this last month, and it has yielded massive benefits, which speaks to, I think, what you're saying, right? Maybe this is such a difficult job that, I don't know, the pressure weighs on you and makes you do things you don't want to do. Here's what I would say. Ultimately, it still falls on Woodson because he calls the substitutions, he calls the shots. He doesn't have to give in to donors in the first place. And he did. That's the way he managed this team for 3 months and the better part of the last 2 years, and it's been a disaster.
This narrative that's out there of that, Mike Woodson was somehow handcuffed by the donors. He picked all these players. He said it in the Big Ten media days. He picked out all these players. They went into a room. They watched film of Ballo. They watched film of Carlisle. They watched film of Rice. Mike Woodson was probably staying up late, smoking a cigar and drinking wine, watching film of these guys playing in the Pac-10, Pac-12 last year, right? We got this is what drives me nuts about reporting around Indiana and all the podcasts and everything. Keep it right here at Indiana Sports Connection because we keep it real. Mike Woodson picked all these guys. To think that there were donors that scouted these guys and said, well, these are going to be your players is just false. Even Mike Woodson said he picked these players. I don't know, these opinions, they drive me wild. I don't know why, but it's I know a lot of people watch this video. I saw 1,300 people had watched this video this morning. So I thought it was good enough to react to. Then this dude goes full Monty on this. And it just really leaves you kind of thinking, what? Look, we all know when Mike Woodson said this,
maybe I'm leaving too soon.
our reactions were,
No. Oh No, please, God, no. Please, God, no. This ain't never gonna happen.
Maybe I'm leaving too soon.
Right? I mean, this when I heard him say this after the game, I laughed so much that milk came out of my nose. Okay? And part of a Reese's peanut butter cup, which I'm still trying to get out of there. But then he went on to say this and go full Monty on this. Hillbilly Monkey, let's roll that clip.
And the better part of the last 2 years, and it's been a disaster. But when his back was against the wall and he said, F this, I'm going to do what I want to do, he's been spectacular since then. And so has the team. They've played in a way that is actually fun to watch. I'm sure Indiana fans can be proud of the way this team is playing right now. So I would go a step further, Dion, and people are not going to like this. They're going to hate it. But this is my honest belief. I believe he still deserves this job. I believe that the way he has responded, and more importantly, this team has responded since announcing that he would be done, I believe this job should still be his. I don't believe whoever you are going to hire is going to have a better 4-year stretch in the next 4 years than Mike Woodson's 500 record against Purdue in the glory days of Matt Painter's program, mixed with 3 tournament appearances in 4 years. I simply don't believe it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you could hit a home run. But guess what? The guys you said were home run hires aren't here. And guess what? The guy you wanted, Dusty May, Mike Woodson's been better than in the last month. Since you said he was fired, Mike Woodson has literally outperformed Dusty May. So if that's the best case scenario, who are we going to get? I think it's being incredibly unfair to what Woodson has done. Look, they still have to do something, right? If they go to the NCAA tournament, Big Ten tournament, lose 2 straight games and it's over, then whatever, we mutually part ways. But you don't have a candidate that clearly is ready to take this job right now. You're still at the drawing board stage of this. Mike Woodson is visually showing you and verbally telling you how much he still cares about this job while his team mobs him and finally delivers the performances you wanted. I would let him keep coaching for his job, Dion. If you want to set the bar too high, fine. Tell him if he makes a Final Four run, he can keep his job. And let's see where this season goes and how inspired this team plays.
This is a ridiculous thing to say. We're still at the drawing board. The season's still going on, you idiots. Okay? Like, we're still at the drawing board because half the coaches are coaching in tournaments this week and will be coaching in the tournament next week. And then, like, all this work is going to really be done afterwards. Just because there's been like this 8-week layover period from the time they said he was going to be fired doesn't mean that anything's changed. Okay? We're still mediocre at best. 10-10. Mike Woodson is 41-39 in 4 years in the Big Ten. That's just not good enough. And it's not his fault. And it is his fault. But, you know, that's who he is as a coach. After watching for 4 years, if you think, oh my God, he showed, the team has won like 2 of 3 games. So, boy, you should just give this guy another year based on nothing at all, based on, you know, guys having a little bit more fire in their belly because he got fired. Good. Then he should take this. Mike Woodson should really take this as like, look, these guys are playing hard. I'm going to go out on top. I'm going to go out a little bit of a winner, feeling good about myself. And look, separate Mike Woodson, the player, from Mike Woodson, the man, from Mike Woodson, the coach. Okay? I think Mike Woodson's a great guy. I think he's probably a great guy with his family. Not probably. He is a great guy. Like, his family loves him. He takes care of his family and his daughters and his grandkids. And, you know, if you probably sat down and drank a beer with Mike Woodson or something like that, you'd probably be like, you know what? This dude was one legendary MFer. I love talking to this guy about basketball. He knows X's and O's. And, you know, being such a great player for Bob Knight, great guy. Coaching in the NBA and coaching college basketball are 2 totally different things. That's well documented on this channel. And then this dude goes on to really like give Mike Woodson all these accolades for coaching in the NBA and things like that, and says a lot of things that are really kind of baffling. This is all baffling to me. But Hillbilly Monkey, let's roll that clip and then we'll talk about it.
I mean, first off, like, within all of this, like there's the Mike Woodson I watched coach the Atlanta Hawks, and I watched him overachieve with a group of guys that really weren't that good, and they they didn't go toe to toe with Bron, but they played against Bron in the playoffs, right? And then he went to New York, and he took over a team that had some like chemistry issues with Melo and everything, and he got them to the Eastern Conference Finals as well. Historically speaking, at the NBA level, Mike Woodson's been a coach that helps you overachieve. He's one of the best defensive minds in the game. And he was the defensive coordinator, I believe it was, for some of these like past Clippers teams, essentially, who have been some of the best defensive teams in the league as well. And it's just one of those things where like the guy we've been watching at Indiana is not the Mike Woodson that I know to be a coach, right? Like, I'm not saying Mike Woodson's a phenomenal coach. Do I necessarily want him coaching the Warriors? Not really. Is he as incompetent as he's looked the last couple of years? Absolutely not. Like, this guy's had a lot of success at the highest level of the game as an X's and O's guy. Now, if you told me Woody struggled recruiting, maybe. But as an X's and O's guy, like, the guy we've seen the last 2 years is not the guy I'm used to seeing. Which brings me to, like, my next point, and I think this is where Indiana really has to look in the mirror. Those donors are the ones controlling this team. And when Woody announced he was retiring and they kind of went away from what the donors want them to do, it galvanized this group, and it developed like, hey, it's not just us against the world, by the way, guys. It's us against the administration. Like, we've been doing what they want to do. We've been underachieving. And then who took the bullet? All of us in this room. So, like, let's go show them, no, it's you guys. Like, stay out of our business. Like, one of the worst things.
Look, if the donors are controlling the team, that's still Mike Woodson's fault. You're the coach, and you should say, look, F you, I got to do what I got to do to keep this team, to make this team good. And I don't give a crap whether you have $1 billion or not. I got to do what's best for the team, and that's my job as the coach. That's the bottom line. It's not, you can't blame shift all of this stuff around to other people besides Mike Woodson. That's really what's happening here. Look, I mean, you can have a company and you can have people buy into the company. People can buy 10% of the company or 20% of the company, but I still have, majority interest. If that person influences me to do something really stupid and the company goes under and I have 70% control and they have 30% control, it's my fault. Okay? It's my fault for not telling them and showing them the ways that what they were saying is wrong. A lot of blame shifting going on here. I really wanted to break these clips down because I know a lot of people probably watch this episode. A lot of the people that watch my channel because they're diehard Indiana fans. And look, I am pumped up for the tournament. It's coming up.
I will be there Thursday.
Message me, comment me if you're going to the tournament. You're going to be there Thursday. If you're going to be there Friday, maybe against Michigan State. It's lining up good for Indiana. I think they can get one over on Oregon. I think they're going to win this game because Oregon is securely in and, Indiana is kind of like fighting there. And then Michigan State, they play them in the second round. That would be a great matchup for Malik Reneau to get some more confidence playing against a top level team. And I have the contest winner. I'm going to reveal it right now. And the winner, and this is the 10th shirt that we've given away on the channel. So thank you so much to everybody for subscribing and doing all that good stuff. The channel's growing up to 3,000 subscribers here soon. So Michael Hackler 6293, come on down. You won the shirt from Rally House. It could be a home field apparel shirt, but you won the t-shirt. So email me at indianasportsco@proton.me and I will send that shirt right out to you. And Hillbilly Monkey, what did you think about these guys and what they had to say on here? Because it was, what I like to call kooky talk.
Carved from the sands of the Wabash River and formed into a monkey lamp that's sold at Home Goods. It's the Hillbilly Monkey Perspective on Indiana Sports Connection.
Oh, well, you're damn right it's kooky talk. I mean, it's like, they can't put any of the blame on Mike Woodson because why? Because Mike Woodson is a big old baby. He can't take responsibility for anything that's said, anything that's done. And why do these guys chime in and jump on that bandwagon? I can't believe that they said that. I've been watching these sleepers guys for years. Too bad that guy Cart wasn't on there, because he would have set him straight and said, look, Mike Woodson is the buffoon that we all think he is, and he's smoking and he's drinking wine all the time, and that's half the reason why the team sucks, and the other half is you just don't know shit about college basketball, and you ain't putting in the effort, and you wouldn't even know what to do if it slapped you in the face.
That's right. He wouldn't know what to do if it slapped him in the face. That's why he's getting fired, not for any other reason. I know somebody's going to comment on this video and they're going to say, leave Mike Woodson alone. Leave him alone. And he's a grown man. This dude's almost 70 years old. If he's been able to take it in the chops in the NBA in this his whole life, then you know what? He can take it from a dude in Huntertown, Indiana, sitting in his bedroom talking shit. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans.